Well, Colonel McCornpone didn't know what he was starting when he sponsored a treasure hunt for a pot containing $1 million in Confederate money. Not only did the citizens of Frostbite Falls dig the streets full of holes, but the light-fingered 5-2 took advantage of the situation to rob the town bank. Bullwinkle was pursuing them closely, but when he took a shortcut down a mountainside, he wound up in front of the car he was chasing. Of course, when he stopped suddenly to let an elderly chipmunk cross the road, a collision was inevitable.
Inevitable?
That means it was bound to happen.
Hey, you're right.
The leader of the gang, Babyface Braunschweiger,
alias you know who,
was just picking himself up when Bullwinkle approached.
Oh, for Daisy's sake, let me help you.
You're helping me?
Of course.
You mean you don't remember what happened?
Certainly. Let's see,
You don't remember what you were doing before the accident?
Well, of course, I was looking for this buried treasure is what?
Babyface. He's forgotten why he's chasing us.
Yeah, fella, you was really...
Please, let's not look a gift moose in the mouth.
Can I help you with your things?
Sure enough, crashing into that tree branch had driven all memory of the bank robbery out of Bullwinkle's mind.
That's no drive, more of a shot pot.
And in a few moments, the robbers were on their way again in the battered Stearns Night runabout.
You got the loot, Babyface?
Right here in this valise, Spike. 100,000 delicious dollars.
Little did Boris know that he had taken Bullwinkle's valise by mistake, and that he...
Hey, you! What are you whispering about it?
Nothing.
Well, stop it.
Yes, sir. But meanwhile, back at the Moose, an identical valise lay at Bullwinkle's feet as he waved bye-bye to the departing thug.
So long. Have a nice trip.
And Bullwinkle sat down on the suitcase to ponder the possible position of the buried treasure.
Now, let's see. Where would I hide $1 million in Confederate money?
At that moment in the Cochiching County Hospital, his pal Rocky was saying...
But I just gotta follow Bullwinkle. I'm sorry, Mr. Squirrel. Doctor's orders are to keep you under observation.
But that's easy.
And a few moments later, Rocky zoomed out of the hospital window, while inside he was still under close observation on television.
That's nice. No temperature.
Bullwinkle, meantime, was puzzling out the latest clue to the hidden Confederate money.
The picayune pot is not obese. It's about the size of a straw valise. Must be the same size as this here suitcase.
And sure enough, as he picked up the valise, it fell open, and the astonished Bullwinkle was up to his moose hocks in money.
Oh, boy!
Of course, his addled brain didn't recognize it as the stolen bank money. To him, it was only...
The picayune pot! I found it! Oh, boy!
But then as he looked at the bills more closely, Bullwinkle became a little puzzled.
This doesn't look like real Confederate money to me.
At last, light was dawning in Bullwinkle's brain. He realized at last what he really held in his hand.
Yes! It's counterfeit Confederate money!
Oh, dear. And Bullwinkle scraped the money together. Well, most of it anyway, and started off down the road, leaving a trail of perfectly good $10 bills behind him.
Well, easy come, easy go.
Oh, the waste. And what will Boris do when he finds that the suitcase he holds contains 4 pairs of socks and a couple of peanut butter sandwiches?
You're whispering again. Speak up or...
Be with us next time for Bucks for Boris or the Green Paper Caper.
That's better.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! No doubt about it. I gotta get another hat.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Once, a very long time ago, in a forest, there was a tree, which is a very nice thing to have in a forest. Now, in this tree, there happened to live a funny little man in a green suit with a pointed cap. He didn't live there alone, for he had a son, who was also a funny little man in a green suit with a pointed cap. Then one day, the son came to his father with a question that he had been wondering about for 50 years.
How come we got to live in a tree?
Because we're not ordinary folks, boy.
How so?
We're magic.
Magic?
Yep.
How so?
Well, you know how sometimes folks get into trouble, and then they meet a funny little man who makes a deal to help them out, and he does little magic, and then later on they write a fairy tale about it?
Yeah?
Funny little man, that's us.
And being that it was his son's 600th birthday, the little man went on to say,
And now, sonny boy, it's time for you to go out into the world and make a name for yourself.
If I do real good, will they write a fairy tale about me?
Without a doubt.
The son was very excited about this prospect, and bidding his father farewell, he skipped happily out of the forest and set out to make a name for himself. In the village nearby, there was a miller who was very poor, but as luck would have it, he had a very beautiful daughter. Now, it so happened that one day, the miller had occasion to speak to the king.
I got a daughter who can spin gold out of straw.
Spin gold out of straw?
Yep.
Bring this girl to my castle tomorrow, and if she can do as you say, I shall take her for my bride. Good day.
Father, what did you tell him a thing like that for?
So that he'll marry you. We can live in a palace in comfort.
But I can't spin gold out of straw. You know that.
Yeah, I know it, and you know it. But the king doesn't know it. And we sure won't tell him.
The next morning, the king placed the unfortunate miller's daughter in a room of the castle with a spinning wheel and a stack of straw.
Now spin that straw to gold, or else.
Thereupon, he carefully locked the door, and she remained alone.
I don't want to be, or else. No!
She began to softly weep. Now, the funny little man in the green suit with the pointed cap had heard about the young girl's plight, and he knew that this was the chance that he had been waiting for, so into the room he hopped.
How do you do?
Who are you?
I'm a funny little man in a green suit.
You could say that again.
I'm a funny little man.
Never mind. What do you want?
I will spin that straw to gold for you if you will give me your first child after you become queen.
My first child? Why that?
Who knows? Makes the plot better.
It was agreed, and the little man jumped to the wheel and in no time at all had spun a room full of gold. When in the morning the king found everything as he had wished,
Wow! I'm rich!
they were married, and the miller's daughter became queen. About 2 years afterwards, a beautiful child was born, and the little man appeared once again.
Hi, I came for the kid.
But you can't have my child. What will you do with him?
Dress him in a green suit, make a funny little old man out of him. What else? No, I tell you what, I'll make a deal. If you can discover what my name is within 2 days, you can keep the child. Boy, won't this make a keen fairy tale someday?
And with that, the queen called to mind all of the names that she could think of.
Henry, Clyde, Newton, George, Marmaduke, Sidney, Frank.
Nah.
Then on the next day, she desperately tried once more.
Ning Toy, Running Mouse, Cherry Nose, Charlie Brown.
No, you have failed.
Well, what is your name then?
It's,
Oh, then a horrible realization came to the little man. He didn't know what his name was.
Wait here. I'll be right back.
He dashed into the kingdom to see if he could find anybody who could tell him what his name was.
Do you know me?
No, I can't say I do. And with any luck, I never will.
He asked everyone he chanced to meet, but nobody could tell him who he was. Finally, out of desperation, he went to an old wise man who lived in a hole in the ground.
No, I don't know your name, but I know how you can find out.
Tell me, quick.
Get yourself a mailbox. Sooner or later, somebody will send you a letter. Then all you have to do is see what name is on the envelope.
That was it. He was truly a wise man.
Oh, I don't know. If I had any brains, I wouldn't be living in a hole in the ground. Now, would I?
The little man did as he was instructed, and before long, he did receive a letter. He eagerly looked at the envelope, but when he saw what his name was, he was shocked.
Rumpelstiltskin? Well, what kind of a name is that? I can't go back to the queen and tell her that my name is Rumpelstiltskin. I'd be the laughingstock of the kingdom.
And so the queen and her child lived happily ever after, for she never saw the funny little man in the green suit again. In fact, nobody ever saw the little man again because he was so ashamed that he changed his name to Louis Smith. And we all know that there's never been a fairy tale about Louis Smith. That is, until just now.
Well, the search for the Picayune pot containing $1 million in Confederate money had some unexpected complications, didn't it? The bank was robbed, Rocky was sent to the hospital, and Bullwinkle was chasing the bandits on his bicycle. He had a slight controversy with a treat trunk, though, and forgot why he was following babyface Braunschweiger and his light-fingered 5-2. As a result, when he opened the rubber suitcase instead of his own and found it stuffed with greenbacks, he could only find one reason for it.
It's counterfeit Confederate money.
And Bullwinkle carelessly began to lug the suitcase back to town, little realizing that those $10 bills fluttering in the breeze were real, honest-to-goodness U.S. money. Meanwhile, babyface Braunschweiger had reached his hideout and was preparing to divide the loot. He didn't know that he had Bullwinkle's suitcase containing 3 pairs of socks and a peanut butter sandwich.
Come on, babyface, quit stalling.
Yeah, come across with our share before we get annoyed.
Tot, fellows. Do I look like double-crosser?
Yes.
Just asking. Well, we'll just open... Ooh.
What's the matter?
On second thought, why don't we wait till later to divide it?
How much later?
How about next Groundhog's Day? If I see my shadow, we open suitcase.
And if you don't?
Well, there's other Groundhog Days.
Babyface, it sounds like you're welching on our deal.
You know what we do to Welchers?
Let's get him, guys.
Things really looked bad for Boris until he said,
Gentlemen, if I'm welching on you, may lightning strike me this minute.
But amazing though it may seem, when the air cleared, the only man left unharmed was Boris Badenov himself.
Not so amazing. Look.
Good heavens, a lightning rod.
Certainly. With my reputation, I can't afford to take chances.
Of course, it didn't take Boris long to figure out what had happened.
If I got peanut butter sandwich, Moose must have money.
And Boris prepared to leave. Oh, what will he do to our friend Bullwinkle?
Don't ask.
Meanwhile, Rocky had left the hospital and was zooming through the air searching for his pal.
Gee, I can't see him anywhere. Hey, Bullwinkle!
Of course, the plucky squirrel's voice would not carry far enough, but Rocky was equal to the occasion. He pulled out a genuine Frostbite Falls Mother Moose call. Far away, Bullwinkle was amusing himself and breaking a federal law by cutting out pictures of the presidents.
They'll look keen in my scrapbook.
Suddenly, a strange sound came floating through the air. Yes, it was a blast from the Mother Moose call. Bullwinkle's response was instantaneous.
Coming, Mother.
Drawn by the irresistible appeal of the moose call, Bullwinkle drew nearer and nearer to his friend. But unfortunately for our heroes, somebody else had heard that moose call. Somebody who wished no good for our friends. Somebody who...
Stop with the somebody who already. Give the name.
Very well, Boris Badenov.
Ta-da!
Had also heard the sound and whipped out a small but invaluable anthology, The Pocketbook of Fiendish Plans.
Oh, boy.
And just a short distance away...
You called?
Hokey Smoke, who are you?
Allow me to introduce myself, Yankee. Only child Moose Moose. Pride from the Everglades.
Honey Child Moose Moss.
Yep, just arrived from below the Moose-Dixon line.
Well, I'm pleased to meet you, Miss Honey Child.
And so Rocky's gallantry and good manners take him close to fearful jeopardy.
Is that Fearful J Jeopardy?
Don't miss our next episode when Moose meets Moose, or two's a crowd.
And here's Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello there. Time again for a small belt of culture. Today's poem is a searching character study called Simple Simon. Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Said Simple Simon to the pieman, "Let me taste your ware."
My what?
Not your what, your ware. Let me taste your ware.
What where? I got no where.
You know what where? Anywhere.
Who's got where?
You got where.
I don't got where. Ask her. Maybe she's got where.
Who's she?
She's witch.
Witch?
Yes, see if she's got where.
What where?
Witch's where.
What?
No where.
What's nowhere?
This whole poem. Why don't you start over?
Because I can't quit till I get a pie.
A pie? You said where?
Same thing. Your pies are your wares.
Oh, why didn't you said so? Here is pie.
That's better.
Better?
Sure. Now I'm getting somewhere.
Peabody here. The reason for the Parkers and Mittens is that Sherman and I are about to embark on a polar expedition.
The Wayback
machine's all warmed up, Mr. Peabody.
So are we, Sherman. Set the indicator for the year 1909. For today, we visit that famous explorer, Commander Perry. Hitting on all 4s, 6s, and 8s, the Wayback shuttled us back through the years till we were standing on a frozen ice pack. We scanned the surrounding wasteland for a sign of the famous Arctic explorer and finally saw him emerge from behind an icy hill.
Look at him, Mr. Peabody. He's wearing track shorts and carrying a pole.
I beg your pardon, Commander, but aren't you freezing?
Yes, but I can't let a little thing like that stop me.
But how can you discover the North Pole dressed that way?
Who said anything about discovering it? I want to vault it.
A pole vaulter? Hmm?
The best in my school. Say hello to the coach for me.
We've got to stop him, Mr. Peabody.
On the contrary, Sherman, he can't vault the pole until he discovers it. Commander Perry made his way across the ice, and we followed. Along about noon, a blinding snowstorm came up, obliterating everything. However, Perry's footprints went on, and so did we. When the storm abated, I had a strong suspicion we had lost the commander. Fortunately, about an hour later, we picked up Perry's trail.
Look at that, a whole bunch of footprints.
There has been a struggle here, Sherman. I'm afraid the commander has been captured by Eskimos. My fears were substantiated when Sherman and I came across a village of igloos. One of them, with barred windows, contained the great explorer. Psst, psst, Commander Perry!
Is that you, Coach?
No, it's Peabody and Sherman. Can you get hold of something to cut your way through the ice blocks?
The guard has a saw on him. I'll ask him.
No, wait! Too late. Perry was on his way.
Pardon me, guard. Can I borrow your saw? See, 2 friends of mine are trying to help me escape, you see, and
And that is how Sherman and I also fell into the hands of the Eskimos.
Eskimo must kill 'em explorers.
But why, Chief? Why do you hate us so?
Last year, one of your kind sell 'em refrigerator to Eskimo. Eskimo no like 'em to be made fool of. You die tonight.
That evening, just after sundown, we waited in the igloo jail.
We've got to get out of this. I'm in the Olympics next year, you know.
Did the chief really mean what he said, Mr. Peabody?
I'm afraid so, Sherman, but never fear. I shall think of something. And of course I did. I remembered it was Friday, and Friday night in Eskimo land was movie night. The Eskimos sat through an entire reel of Nanook of the North, and then we went into action. Intermission time! Intermission! Get your hot buttered popcorn here.
You got 'em popcorn?
Why, yes, we cater all through the North, you know. Form a line there, please. The picture will go on in a few minutes. Now, sir, what would you like?
Popcorn.
Oh, I'm sorry. We seem to have run out of popcorn.
No got 'em popcorn left?
Afraid not. It's back with our supplies. However, if you'll let us go, we'll bring back a fresh supply.
Can you make 'em back here before cartoon goes on?
We'll certainly try. Moments later, the 3 of us were dashing for freedom.
You fooled him, Mr. Peabody.
Yes, I had, but I hadn't reckoned with Commander Perry's erratic behavior.
What happened to him? He was running right beside us, and then all of a sudden...
It was against my better judgment, but if I knew Perry, he'd be back at the Eskimo village. And sure enough, in aisle 4, row 3, the commander was seated, completely enraptured by the second reel of Nanook of the North.
Psst! Mr. Perry!
Oh, hello there. Did you bring back the popcorn with you?
Commander, you don't seem to realize your position.
Oh, yes, I do. It's aisle 4, row 3.
Well, Sherman, if the mountain won't come to Perry, then Perry shall go to the mountain. Or in this case, the North Pole. Well, you can imagine the Eskimos' surprise when suddenly the screen upon which the movie was showing started moving away.
Am I pulling too fast?
No, you're doing just fine, Sherman. As we pulled the screen over the ice, the Eskimos and Commander Perry moved with us. We had a captive audience.
I sure hope the picture doesn't end.
Don't worry, my boy. I looked at the schedule. They're also showing 4 March of Times and a Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon. By the time dawn broke over the Arctic, the movie had ended, the Eskimos had gone home, and Perry, pole in hand, was ready to resume his quest for the North Pole. Your quest is ended, Commander, because you're standing on the North Pole.
I am? Say, this is wonderful.
To show his appreciation, Perry presented us with a tame seal.
He sure is cute, Mr. Peabody.
Yes, but I don't know how we'll get him on the back of an envelope.
Where?
Well, you see, Sherman, this is the Christmas season. And on the back of my Christmas cards, I always put a Christmas seal.
Bullwinkle has been having a wonderful time with that trunk full of Confederate money he found. He's been sailing paper airplanes made of $50 bills, even cutting out paper dolls of $10 each. Little does he know that it isn't Confederate money at all, but real United States currency stolen from the town bank.
Boy, look at that one go!
Rocky has been searching for him frantically and finally resorts to using a Frostbite Falls Mother Moose call. The sound of it reached Bullwinkle as he was flying a kite made of $100 bills.
Coming, Mother!
But when Rocky blew again, it wasn't Bullwinkle who showed up at all.
You called?
Hokey Smoke, who are you?
Allow me to introduce myself. Honeychild Moose Moss from way below the Moose and Dixon line.
Gee, welcome to Minnesota, Miss Moose Moss.
Rocky behaved like a little gentleman, but Honeychild didn't act like a lady at all. Fortunately, she was stopped by a strange sound.
Well, howdy do.
Bullwinkle, it's you! Did you find the bank robbers and the money?
How about introducing me to your bank robbers? Now I remember.
Yes, it seemed that Bullwinkle's period of amnesia was over.
Did I find the money? Boy, have I got a surprise for you, Rock.
And Bullwinkle grabbed the straw valise and flung it open.
Well, aren't you surprised at what's in there?
3 pairs of socks and a peanut butter sandwich?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, indeed. Honeychild Moose Moss, alias Babyface Braunschweiger,
Alias Boris bad enough.
had traded suitcases with Bullwinkle and now had possession of the valise full of money.
And now it's bye-bye Boris.
But as the disguised villain started off...
Hey, what's your hurry, little missy?
Well, I gotta go way down upon the Swanee River.
To see the old folks at home, huh?
Hey, Bullwinkle, that valise looks just like yours.
How about that? Small world, isn't it, Miss...
Her name's Honeychild Moose Moss.
Of the Florida Moose Mosses.
I just knew you were from the South on account of your southern fried accent.
No offense, Miss Moose Moss, but could we see inside your suitcase?
Sir, no southern gentleman ever peeking inside lady's pocketbook.
That's a pocketbook?
Large economy size.
Gee, maybe I didn't have the money after all, Rock.
Yeah.
Maybe I dreamed it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just a stupid lame brain.
Yeah.
Couldn't you hesitate a little on that one?
Well, I really must be going, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, it was a clear-cut victory for Boris until a strange object floated down near our friends.
Bullwinkle, it's a kite made of $100 bills.
Must be the deluxe model, and that ain't... Hey, that's my kite.
Right. You did have the money, Bullwinkle.
I think I hear my dear old mammy calling Caroline.
But your name's Honeychild.
That's my maiden name. Well, so long, Yankees.
Grab that suitcase, Bullwinkle.
And as Boris sped away, Bullwinkle seized the valise.
Good work.
Yeah.
Open it up.
Right.
What's in it?
3 pairs of socks and a peanut butter sandwich.
Bullwinkle, she tricked us.
Yeah, them southern meese are pretty slick.
After her, Bullwinkle.
It's a pleasure.
But in a few steps, Bullwinkle stopped short.
Look there, Rock.
Sure enough, on a nearby bush was Boris's false wig and antlers.
You know what that means, Bullwinkle?
Yeah, she's been scalped.
No.
Confound them Apaches anyway.
Listen,
We'll head them off at the pass.
Bullwinkle, it's a wig.
She wasn't a real blonde.
She wasn't a real moose.
She wasn't even a real she.
Well, will Boris make it to the train station and escape unscathed?
On what?
We'll find out next time in the Midnight Choo-Choo or This Gum for Hire.